What's up, everybody? I'm back for another top 5 video. Now, last time I did a prices video. I did on PlayStation 1 and I did my top 10 most expensive PlayStation 1 games. And this time around we're going to be doing top 5, but we're going to be splitting it between loose games and boxed games. And when I say boxed games, I'm talking complete games. And I'll explain a little bit more in detail because I've got a couple honorable mentions for this category. Now, Sega Genesis is a library that I started collecting probably around 2003, about 2003. I got a job working in a store called Game Crazy, which was a Hollywood video affiliate. And I actually ended up managing the store for a short time, but during that year period where I worked at the store, I got a ton of amazing Genesis games. And then I started seriously considering collecting some complete and boxed games that I really wanted. And so as the years went on, when other stores and branches opened up and other types of stores like Game Exchange and stuff like that, I started diving deep into the Genesis library and I got some insane deals. So I couldn't picture going for a full Genesis library ever, because I'm not just that kind of collector. I like collecting stuff that I'm actually really interested in playing. But I did get a bunch of games that I basically bought for peanuts. Not literal peanuts, but you know, it could have been. It was that cheap. And I've kept them in my collection ever since, and it blows my mind at how expensive some of these Genesis complete and box games are. When you compare some of the prices that I paid for them versus the prices that they are now, no way would I start collecting Genesis. I would just get a Sega Genesis Mini and dump a bunch of ROMs on there. But that's not what you're here for. You're here to see the nitty-gritty goods. So today we've got 5 games, here's some loose games, that are in my top 5 most expensive loose games. And then we'll do complete and box with a couple honorable mentions. So loose, my lowest price loose game is Contra, and I know everyone's gonna give me stuff for this. Contra Hard Corps. Yeah, I said it. It's Hard Corps. Deal with it. This game is great. This is a phenomenal Genesis game, and I picked this up, I want to say for like 14 bucks at one point. I think I bought it shortly after I did a podcast on Contra games for my previous podcast, Pixel Tunes Radio, and I think that's right around the time when I was like, you know what, let me hunt this one down. Now, this game, it's a little confusing because it got a cardboard box release, but it also got a regular clamshell Genesis release. So this one, I'm marking as $40 to $60. Now again, as in the previous video, I'm doing ranges in price based on May 2021, early May 2021, or actually it's more like mid-May 2021 at this point, looking up on pricecharting.com and kind of just taking the average or whatever the most sales are and just kind of running that. So between $40 and $60 you can get a loose copy of Contra Hard Corps. Corpse people. All right, next up is a game called Hellfire. This is a shooter, shmup, whatever you want to call it. And Hellfire recently got a re-release on a complete in box, full re-release through Retrobit. And I actually picked up the Zero Wing one not too long ago. I did an unboxing on it. So Hellfire is a really fun shooter where you can change colors of your ship. And depending on the color that you change to, it changes the direction of where your ship fires. So either straight across and back, straight up and down, diagonals. It's pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with this one. It's got a cool soundtrack too. This one goes between $49 to $69 loose. Next up is Sparkster, another Konami game. And this one, honestly, I think I picked it up at a convention for maybe $25, $30. This was not that long ago. Maybe, I want to say within the past 2 years, I picked this one up. So Sparkster, is a lot of fun. It's not as good as Rocket Knight Adventures in my opinion, but heck, you know, it's still a pretty cool game. I haven't beaten this one, but I'd like to someday. Sparkster goes for between $70 to $80 loose, which is a pretty significant jump. All right, next up on the loose list is Mega Turrican. Now, this is one of the first games that I bought on the Genesis. When I first got my Genesis, I had maybe 3 games. This one was one of the first I purchased when I worked at this game store, and I bought it for maybe $4, I think. It was cheap, I remember that. And I also picked up Bloodlines, Castlevania Bloodlines. I picked it up loose at the time, and I think, I want to say Sonic, like Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 or whatever. So yeah, this one, I've been considering selling this because there's a Turrican collection, but I would have only done it if everything was identical. And this is so stupid, but in the beginning of this game, when you turn it on, first off, it was published by Data East, if you can't see from that giant logo right dead in the center. And when you turn the game on, it goes, presented by Data East. And I don't know why, but I always thought that was really goofy and fun. So the new version isn't published by Data East. I think it's published by Factor 5, but don't quote me on that. So it doesn't have the Data East chime in the beginning, that little voice sample. So I decided to keep it just for that reason. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. Anyways, Mega Turrican goes for between $70 to $90 currently. Next up, and the last on my list, is Marvel's Punisher. This game is not as good as the arcade version. I'm sorry, it's not. I picked it up for 20 bucks. And I saw it and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it because it's the only, at that time, other than emulation, it was the only way to play the Punisher. And this is before arcade went up and all that stuff. So I bought this like, oh God, it must have been like 7 years ago. And so it's in good shape. I've played through it like once or twice maybe. It's okay. It like I said, it's just not as good. So that one goes for about 100. I didn't really see a proper range for that one. It just kind of fits dead center at $100. So I don't know. So now we have a couple honorable mentions, and I'll explain why. So there's a couple games in my collection for Genesis that I bought all of these, for the record, with the intentions of completing them one day. And I just never did. I never found the manual when the manuals were still pretty cheap. I've got some interesting stories to tell about these. One of them is complete, but it just doesn't hit the mark to be on the complete list, unfortunately. Which is shocking. It's surprising. But first one up is Elemental Master. Now, I don't actually have a price for this one. I didn't write it down. I believe complete in box, it is going for quite a bit. The game itself is in great shape. It's in really phenomenal shape. But what's interesting, I bought this at a game store, my local game store, Retro Games Plus, and I paid $69.95. Right there, you can see it, $69.95. So, yeah, that's not a bad price for just a box and a game. That was, when was that? That was, hold on. That was in 2016. So that's not that long ago, but it's also, you know, jumped in value. I think, if I recall, a complete in-box copy of this goes for over 200. So, I don't know. I wouldn't pay that for this, but that's what it is. So next one on my list is El Viento, and I have a funny story about this one. First off, it is not complete in box. It is just the game and the box. So I bought the game loose for maybe 20 bucks once. I think I saw it like maybe, oh man, it's been in my collection for a while. I want to say 11 years, probably about 11 years. It was right around the time when I started to consider doing YouTube. I was watching a lot of Angry Video Game Nerd and everything. And so I went on eBay and found what I thought was a complete in-box copy for, I guess, I think it was an additional like maybe 30 bucks or 20 bucks or something like that. So I jumped on it. I get it in, and it's just the box. And I went back to listing because I was like, this guy ripped me off. And sure enough, the sale was just for the box. I totally didn't read it right. So that's how I ended up with a box for El Viento. This is a really fun action game, action, kind of almost like borderline run and gun game. It's part of the Annette Futabi trilogy, which includes Ernest Evans and the Annette Futabi Mega CD game, which I have a Sega CD, like a reprint of that I just made on the cheap. So El Viento goes for, I think, around 200. Again, same thing if it's complete in box, but it just doesn't fit the grade, unfortunately. Now, this other honorable mention really surprised me because it's a complete in box game that I have, and I figured it would be worth money. But it's still worth quite a bit, but it doesn't hit that mark. And that's Alicia Dragoon. Now, this one, it doesn't have the hang tab, but it is complete in box. And it's in pretty good shape. I haven't played through this one, but I have played it and I really enjoy it. But this one I paid about $4 for. Game Exchange used to sell complete in box Genesis games that were really under the radar for like $4. So now I think it's going for like, I think it said like 140 or 110 or something like that. I don't know, I can't remember. All right, you are here though for the complete in box stuff. I know you, I could see it in your eyes. You wanna know what I got. Well, here's the list. Here's my first game, Rolling Thunder 3. Now, this one has a funny story to it. I saw somebody post online that they traded into the Game Exchange, my local Game Exchange, a bunch of complete in box games. One of which was Earthworm Jim. Now, I really wanted a complete in box copy of the Super Nintendo Earthworm Jim, so I went down to the store to grab it. Well, it turns out that they had like mispriced, or there was some sort of issue with it where they were gonna hold it for me because I called the store beforehand, and then they were like, "Oh no, sorry dog, we sold it." And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me, like you told me you were gonna hold it." I was a pretty good customer there, so I was annoyed. I was pretty upset. I really wanted the Earthworm Jim complete in box, but anyways, I made out in the end because the manager at the time was like, "Hey, I'm sorry about what happened, but we just got a bunch of Genesis games in, and you're free to pick from the litter of the Genesis games. They're all pretty cheap." So I picked up Rolling Thunder 2 and Rolling Thunder 3. This is complete in box. This was, at the time, here's a receipt for it. This was 2014. I paid $1.95 for Rolling Thunder 2 and $3.95 for Rolling Thunder 3. And this also even has the registration card in it, which is pretty cool. Namco registration card. So yeah, this one's complete in box. It's in pretty good shape. The game's fun. It's not, I think 2 might be a little better, but that's just me. Anyways, Rolling Thunder 3, a lot of these games on this list, for the record, all have ranges that could be number 5 or number 4 or whatever, but this one is $190 to $230 complete in box, which I'm just like, I guess because it's really obscure and rare, maybe, but it only came out in the Genesis. It's never been released anywhere else, like, okay. Next on my list is a game that I love, and I've talked about it to death, and I've got a video that's going to be coming out hopefully in the somewhat near future that is going to dive deep into the back lore of the franchise for Castlevania. I'm really excited about this one. It's based on some brand new information which nobody has ever revealed that I found out about Castlevania. So look for that in the near future. But Castlevania Bloodlines is a phenomenal game. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the games I bought a Genesis for. I didn't get this one growing up, even though I was a huge Castlevania fan. But this one is complete. The only thing I will say, and this is kind of frustrating when it comes to these Genesis games because it is a black and white manual. I had to piecemeal this one together. I bought, I think, the box separate for like maybe 20 bucks. The game I bought for, I think, I remember I sold my copy because I was moved, like at one point in time when the WiiWare and like the Wii Virtual Console was out, I started dumping my stuff to get digital, which I did it for a couple games and I instantly regretted it, and I ended up buying the games back not too long after that. So one of the games that I bought back was Castlevania Bloodlines. And I think I paid maybe 20 bucks for it, 25 bucks. The manual I bought for 10 bucks. So altogether, I think I paid maybe what? So 20, 25, let's say 45, and I think it was 10 for the manual. So like 55 bucks. I can math. Yeah, I can math. So this one goes for, again, that black and white manual is like a Majesco reprint manual, if I recall. So I don't know if that actually would change this as far as how this goes, but my goal was to get complete in box, and that's what I did. Anyways, 170 to 240 for this one. I think I'm gonna have to pick up the manual, the the colorized manual for this one, because I just don't like having a black and white manual. I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. Next up on my list is a game that is a really good, underrated game, and that's Streets of Rage 3. This one I picked up at a game store. Let me see, I do have the receipt. And I bought this one in 2015, and I paid 70 bucks for it. It was still pretty pricey back then. Yeah, 70 bucks, $69.95. So it also does have the black and white manual with it, but honestly, that is what it came with. So I am confused on that one because it's a complete in box, hardcover box copy, not the cardboard box copy, the Majesco reprints or whatever. So I'm a little baffled as to why it has a black and white manual. Maybe it was a similar situation for somebody else with the Bloodlines, like, you know, what I have. Anyways, Streets of Rage 3 goes for about $220. That was the average that I found for this one. All right, this one is pretty low on the radar. I think people are just starting to find out about it. It's called Troubleshooter. I've been wanting to do a video on this for some time. Actually, my boy, Nefarious Wes, who is the one that inspired this video, go check out the video for his down below. He's the one that directly inspired me to do this video. So kudos to him for that. It's been a year in the making or so. So Troubleshooter is a fun shooter where you play as two girls, Madison and Crystal, and you can switch back and forth between the two. They're like back to back, and they have different weapons, guns that they shoot. It's kind of like a shmup. It's like an auto-scrolling shmup, so it's pretty cool. I think that's what really kind of made me want to pick up the game. As I saw the art on the front cover, I was like, wow, Troubleshooter, I've never heard of this game. And that was before I heard about Battlemania Daiginjo, which is one of the most underrated Mega Drive Genesis games ever. Anyways, this one is in unbelievable shape. It is so clean, complete in box, and it was to the point where I had to open up the cart to verify that I mean, look at that. That's super clean. I thought it was a repro at first, but I opened up the cart and it is not. The manual is also super crisp. Look at that. Oof. So, Troubleshooter, what does it go for now? What did I pay for it? I kept almost all my Genesis receipts. I paid $24.95 for this one. $24.95. It is currently selling for between $220 and $270. Seriously? I mean, it is really obscure. It is, not gonna lie. It's a Vic Tokai game. I don't know if I couldn't justify paying that much for something like this. But hey, Troubleshooter, pretty rare game. Next up on my list is actually a game that is fairly new. It's Paprium. This one is, unfortunately, the cart started jiggling on the inside, which is apparently a known problem or issue with this game. It is complete in box because I just bought it. It's a brand new game. Why this game is going for this much, I do not know. Is it a great game? Hell yeah. It's a really, really fun beat 'em up. Is it worth the price it's going for? No, it's not. I paid 60 bucks for this because I bought it. I pre-ordered it like when the pre-orders were available for it. And I never thought I'd see it. So I'm glad I did. I did an unboxing for this one not too long ago. $275 this one's going for. And honestly, it's only gonna go up And not only that, but if you look online, the prices on price charting don't make any sense. Like it says 300, it's worth like 300 something or whatever, and then when you go to the listing itself and look at the complete in box sold listings, it's around 275. So that is it, guys. That's my last game. I want to know your most expensive Genesis Mega Drive games. I didn't do Mega Drive just because I really don't have that many Mega Drive games. So, but I'm very curious to know what your most expensive games are. Loose, complete, doesn't matter. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of these games, and I will see you again in the near future.